Military hero, athlete, finalist on Dancing with the Stars, Noah Galloway is spending some time with us after a wonderful competition of barbecue and grilling beans.
Are y'all full? Y'all full up now?
I did. I ate all my chicken, all the beans.
You did.
It was so good.
Let's go back in time, 2005, when your life changed. Tell us about that.
So I was on my second deployment to Iraq, and I served with the 101st out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and we were in an area southwest of Baghdad known as the Triangle of Death. It was a really hard deployment that we were on, and I was heading down the road in a Humvee. We had 3 Humvees. We drove, headlights off, night vision goggles on when we were driving at night. And with night vision goggles, you can see well, but you can't see everything. What I didn't see was a tripwire that was stretched across the road, that when my front tires hit it, it detonated a roadside bomb large enough that it would hit my door. It threw this 9,000-pound armored Humvee flying through the air, landing in a canal running adjacent to the road. And I woke up 6 days later on Christmas Day in the hospital at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. And it was all news to me from my mom that I'd lost 2 of my limbs, and my jaw was shattered and my mouth was wired shut, and I had serious injuries to my good leg. So it was a lot to take in.
When did you start taking it in? Because it's a process, I'm sure, of going through levels of
It is,
denial.
there's different stages, and denial was the one I spent the most time in. I didn't realize I was going through it until I started coming out of it, but and that was a good, 3, 4, 5 years of depression I went through. A lot of drinking, not taking care of myself, and just, I was struggling. I was suffering. There were moments that I thought if I would have died over there, I'd have been known as a hero. And here I am living my life missing 2 of my limbs, and I don't know what to do with it.
So what was the awakening for you? What was the turning point?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different things that fell into it, but what was really important was, I have 3 kids, and I wasn't being a very good father. I wasn't there for them emotionally, and I wasn't setting a good example for my boys and for my little girl. And that was the kind of thing where I was like, I got to make a change. And fitness was always something that I got into at a young age. And, I knew that that was something I could do that I used to do before. And it was hard. I couldn't find anything that would tell me how to work out missing an arm and a leg. But I changed my eating habits. I joined a gym and just started working out, and things just started to progress from there.
Can we revisit something? Because I don't think a lot of people understand when you say depression, what the face of that is. It's not just being sad.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't happy with who I was. There were moments that I didn't want to be alive, and that's a sad place to be. Yeah. To think that you don't want to even be on this earth anymore.
How did it affect your relationship with your wife and your family?
It was hard, because I wasn't opening up to them. I wasn't telling anybody what was going on, but it was that wall, even if I didn't realize I was putting it there, it was there, and it made for hard for anybody to get in. And that's one thing that I've said, working with other veterans or anybody that goes through depression, the biggest mistake I made for all those years was not talking to anyone. And that was what I should have been doing, and it could have helped me a lot sooner than it did.
When you made the turn, was it like a light switch? Did it happen immediately?
No, I mean, and just like I can compare it to fitness, nothing happens immediately. It just, you have to have these small attainable goals. And and like I said, I started changing one thing that I was doing, like my eating habits. I was sitting around drinking all the time. So I had to change that, and it was just one thing after another, and it's like, they say that you're going after that light at the end of the tunnel. Well, first you don't even see the light. You got to get closer and closer, then you see it, and then next thing I know, I'm sprinting towards it, you know what I mean? And you come out.
Did you join a support group, or who did you turn to for help?
Once I started, feeling, like I started seeing that light in the distance, then I started opening up, and it was other veterans, the guys I served with, that I started, calling and talking to them, and realizing that a lot of those guys were going through the same emotional things that I was. I wasn't alone, whether it was the guys I served with or other veterans, and that was a big turning point in making sure I had that support of people who'd been there and understood what I was going through.
You have an organization which we'll talk about, but the name of it sounds like tough love, because it's called No Excuses.
It is.
Sounds like something my dad would say to me. No excuses, get out there and do it. But it doesn't come from that point.
No, I'll tell you what, being as a veteran, you know, sometimes we have to remind ourselves and each other that even if we're out, we're injured, whatever it is, we are still soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and we need to act accordingly and know that we are tough individuals. We are tough men and women that are willing to wear that uniform for our country and to, you know, band together like in combat to support each other and then keep moving forward. We're going to have those down days, but you just got to keep pushing forward and get to that the other side.
Your organization
well,
also.
I'm sorry.
You also work with is it under-resourced children? Is that what it?
No, I work with the youth programs at my local YMCA. I've gotten to sponsor a lot of children whose families couldn't afford for them to play sports. So I've been able to, you know, sponsor, you know, over a dozen kids that are getting to play baseball and flag football and soccer. Because for me, fitness is what got me out of my depression.
Yeah.
Fitness carried me through a lot of amazing things